Whew. So yeah, I have some thoughts on this camera. I've had the Sony FX2 for over 2 weeks now. So I have some thoughts on this camera for sure. If you look at the thumbnail of this video, you might think I have some regrets, but it was clickbaity. I'm telling you that right now. It has been an amazing camera, and there's so many great things about it, and there's some quirks about it that I've found over the 2 weeks. So I want to just share my first impressions of owning this camera for 2 weeks. There's going to be so many more videos on this camera, I can tell you that right now. I'm actually filming one tomorrow comparing it versus the A7 IV. So if you're waiting to see that comparison, you better subscribe. Why did I get this camera? There was so much hate around this camera, and I shoot on the A7S III, which I'm shooting on right now. At the end of this video, I'll just throw this on the tripod and we'll get a good comparison of kind of what this A7S III looks like versus this camera in the studio. Here's my initial thoughts are, I shoot a lot of video, but I also shoot a lot of photography. I shoot a lot of photography at my church, and I sold off my A7C, and I was hoping that I could just use this A7S III or this camera up here, which is the ZVE-10 Mark II, and use both those cameras as kind of like my only cameras, because I hate having so many bodies. I got away with using the A7S III for photography and real estate, and I had no problems. But I started kind of realizing that I was feeling a little limited on the photography end for things at my church when I'm to go into APS-C crop mode and get even more range out of it. You know, switching from the 12 megapixels down to 6, it just wasn't cutting it for me. And so most people probably couldn't notice it, but I definitely could. It was probably more so for me. The A7C, the reason why I sold it is I just felt the autofocus when I was using the A7S III, it just didn't compare to it, or even the ZV-10 Mark II. So I was like, I wonder if I can live without it. And I regretted that decision. To be completely honest with you, I was like, I should have just kept the A7C and kept using it as my photography camera. So then I'm like, well, I'll just wait till the A7 IV comes out. And then Sony announces this bad boy, and I'm like, holy cow, yes, it's an A7 IV, but man, this little viewfinder just looks awesome. This is just so cool. It tilts up, it's sideways, and to be honest with you, this thing is completely awesome. I loved it. This has been one of my favorite things when shooting photography with this camera. One thing that gets a lot of hate is people are like, oh, this thing, it sticks off the body too much. I'm left eye dominant, so when this goes up to my face, I feel like this is just ultra comfortable. And I just love the grip on this camera. It fits in the hand, it fits so comfortably. I can't tell you how comfortable this camera is. So all those things to say, I needed a photography camera, and I was tempted to get the A7C Mark II. When I sold it, I was like, if I don't like it, I'll just go get the A7C Mark II. But then this thing came out, and I'm like, holy cow, this is the best of both worlds. It's still a compact body like A7C II. It's just a little thicker, to be completely honest with you. And the EVF on this thing destroys the EVF on both the A7C and the A7C Mark II. This just makes me excited to go out and shoot. And for whatever reason, man, those colors coming straight out of this camera, they just look a little bit different. They look different than the A7 IV, so that's why tomorrow I'm really interested to get that footage and compare the two, because Sony says that this camera has the more realistic colors to the Venice than any of the FX cameras, both the FX3 and the FX30. This has better colors than both those cameras, and to be honest with you, without even seeing it and comparing it, I believe it. There's just something special about it. Not to mention, I really like the buttons. There's so many buttons on this thing, and I'm going to be having a custom buttons video. There's a few more buttons that I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to program them, because man, there's so many buttons on this thing. I'm trying to scratch my head and figure out, man, I haven't had this many options before on a camera. It's been great. This, just to give you a heads up, this iris button right here is my APS-C crop mode, and I absolutely love it. I've been using the record button on the A7S III for APS-C crop mode, but I can actually utilize this both in video and photo, so that just is so cool. The zoom rocker is super nice. The white balance button, I leave that as that. The ISO button is like my manual focus on and off, like it's great. Because this has shutter angle, I don't have to worry about even programming one of the dials as my shutter angle, so that gives me a whole nother like thing to do. I mean, it's just incredible. The stills movie and stills switch, it makes this thing such a dream and easy to switch between movie, stills, and then there's the mode dial. A lot of people don't know this, but you hold down the function button and for 3 seconds and it switches to the mode dial. That's what can switch me into like having my saved mode 1, 2, and 3 for video, and then save mode 1, 2, and 3 for photo. And it's great. There is S and Q mode in this, but they changed it to like FPS mode. And so there's a little bit of wording there, and I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to that and saying, yes, there still is slow and quick in here. It's just now called FPS, and there's a few little minor differences, but it pretty much performs exactly the same. So, but the buttons just feel great. The built-in fan, this thing will never ever overheat. Everybody who's like, oh, it's just an A74 rehoused. Yes and no, but the fan in this thing, just everybody's like, oh man, now it doesn't overheat. Yes, that's the wonders of it. But like I said, the EVF and the processing power of the AI extras they added into it, and the colors, it just kind of makes it a whole new camera versus the A74, and people just aren't taking that into like thought. And I'm finding a lot of other creators, I knew this was going to happen, that's why I jumped on the pre-order for this thing. People are starting to realize the wonders of it, and you got like people like Chris Brockhurst and Sidney DeYoungson that are now getting this camera. And I think a lot of creators are going to find out that this camera does more than enough for anything. I mean, honestly, I've been reaching for this thing more than my A7S III camera. This thing has been just living in my studio space on the tripod, and this thing goes with me everywhere because I just like the size, I like all the features, it looks so darn good. That dynamic active stabilization on this thing is killer. I've been using it for photos and video. It's like finally a true hybrid. That's what I will say about this camera, is it's finally a true hybrid. I feel like I could just keep ranting and ranting about this. The EVF looks great. It feels great. I love the top handle. I got this, you know, of course I went out and bought it. I actually got this used. I found one for $160 used, and I just jumped on it. I got some small rig stuff, which I'm going to be doing some videos on. But like this top handle is so good, and I already have it for my A7S III. I just use the K3M module. Now I can just fully leave it in the studio, and I got this one for on the go. What can I not say about this camera, to be completely honest with you? It was, I think, is a very underrated camera, and a lot of people are going to start jumping on this thing. Yes, it doesn't have 4K 120 like my A7S III. Yes, it has some rolling shutter issues just like the A7 IV if you're moving too fast. So maybe if you shoot sports video stuff, you're gonna probably want to get an FX3 still if you're mainly shooting video. But I think for the hybrid shooter that does a lot of video and also likes to do a lot of photography, this camera is just a wow. And I like I said, it's so fun shooting photography on this camera. Everybody's like, it says cinema line on it, but you're shooting a lot of photography with it. I think that's kind of ironic, don't you? Yes and no. And then you got all the features where like the shutter comes down. The shutter sound on this camera is, I like it and I don't like it. I think it sounds like a toy going off, but it's super quiet. So when I am shooting in like, you know, quiet spaces and I don't want people to like look at me, and every time I fire off the shutter, it's very subtle. So I do like that. I like that fact of it, but it does kind of sound like a toy. It barely sounds like a sound at all, really. But this camera is just, man, I love it. And you're going to be seeing a lot more content on this camera. The thumbnail, do I regret it? absolutely not. Even when the A7 V comes out, you know, I just like this. There's something about having a workhorse that can record unlimited where you don't have to worry about it. You can take this into the field, you can take this into hot days, you can take this into weddings and just shoot. And people just need to, like, sometimes take the specs at a grain of salt, because this thing is so powerful. The A7 IV was, you know, a great camera, and they just kind of baby step improved upon it in the ways that it mattered, and it makes this thing feel like a whole nother beast. So, you know, I don't like to hate on, if the camera's not for you, then don't buy it. It's okay. It's okay if you're still waiting for that A7 V. It's okay. But I really do think this camera has a place in the market, and it's a perfect content creator camera, especially when you look at the price of this thing and the price of the A7 IV. You're like, the difference, you might want to jump on this because of a lot of the extra features, the size, it's cinema first camera, but it has a lot of great photography features too. So kudos to you, Sony. You know, you took a lot of heat for this camera, that's for sure. But if you guys want to see more content on this camera, let me know down in the comments below. What would you like to see? What questions do you have? I'm totally up for it. I'm totally down for doing a video. Like I said, tomorrow I'm doing an A7 IV versus this camera. If I can get my hands on an A7C Mark II, I even want to do a comparison versus these two cameras, because honestly, that's what, if people are looking at that budget range, they might consider buying this one, and I think this one's a better buy personally. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts on this camera. Like I said, I got plenty more content left to do on it, but I wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts. And my initial thoughts as an A7S III user, A7C user, you know, APS-C line user, I think this thing is just incredible. Sony didn't send this to me. I paid for this myself. I saw it. I saw that it was going to be, I know this camera is going to be popular. It's going to be a popular camera. I'm sorry. Everybody always likes to dog on some of these FX cameras when they come out, but then when they get into the hands of people like me and you, we all realize how good it is. Oh, and the 6 menu, the big 6 menu was on this first. I love that it has the extra home button. That's nice. Extra buttons, more buttons. Give me more buttons. But anyways, like, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube things, and you guys know that I will see you in the future. But man, does this thing look good? It does! Whoa!